I'd like to call the September 17th, 2018 meeting of the Hammond Plan Commission to order. First item would be on the agenda is Pledge Allegiance.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Roger Brock.
Here.
Dean Button.
Here.
Nathaniel Harris. Ann Herbert.
Here.
William Hutton.
Here.
Juan Moreno.
Here.
Sharon Zaney.
Here.
Pete Torres.
Here.
Thomas White.
Here.
8 present. We have a quorum.
Next item on the agenda would be the approval of the minutes for the August 20th, 2018 meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of August the 20th, 2018.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any old business
There is no old business.
and new business? I was going to, and then I'll say so. Okay. New business, CP-18-11, petition of Douglas P. and Ann K. Williams for a one-lot subdivision known as Williams Clinic Addition to the city of Hammond, located at 6850 Holman Avenue within the city of Hammond. And have the notifications
Yes.
been met?
Yes.
And since we have no petitioner, Brian will step in if that would.
I'm going to pose a question to the Plan Commission. We now know that the petitioner has done the notifications properly, and unfortunately, for some reason, we do not see the petitioner here, and we do not have the Mylars in front of us. So the question to the Plan Commission, and as we understand, this is an unusual circumstance. Would the Plan Commission want to go forward on this with the staff presenting the subdivision plat, or would you not want to go forward? And unfortunately, our attorney's not here to help us.
I would think if it's the pleasure of the board that we might do it in the form of a motion, if they're so inclined to have you present.
Yes, I would request a motion as opposed to a consensus.
I would first ask, this has not happened before. You don't have a recollection that we're not setting precedent.
I cannot think of any time that this has ever happened before, and if it did, we have, like, if we had other items on the agenda, we would have gone to other things and waited for that person to show up. That, we've had that precedent.
So again, I'll leave it to the board. If the board feels that Brian is the person to do it.
I guess I would also ask too, Mr. Chairman, are you comfortable with presenting the facts of the condition and what, and it's describing what the petitioner is asking?
I have, obviously in-depth knowledge as to the nature of the petition. So therefore, yes, I have the knowledge base to make that. I just, because this is an unusual circumstance, I just want us to be very careful what we're doing.
I'd like to ask, we understand you have in-depth knowledge, but what if there's a question that we have for the petitioner and he can't answer it?
I understand that is a legitimate question, but let's remember that in a subdivision situation, this is a matter of if the subdivision plat meets the technical requirements, you are required by state law to approve it. If this was a rezoning or some other thing, I would not be making this suggestion.
Is the petitioner required to be here?
That is the protocol, and yes, they should be here.
And I might add that it's actually the representative for the petitioner.
Oh, perhaps, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, right, obviously the owner of the property or their representatives, that is the requirement, because they are actually asking the Plan Commission for something. Just remember, this was postponed from last meeting already, and they have a pending permit to do the improvements on the property, and this action has to happen before we can issue those permits.
But the reason for it being held over was as a result of the notification, not as a result of the absent petitioner.
Yes, it was, because they did not do their notifications, correct.
So again, I'll leave it to the board. If you'd like to continue with this and have Brian present, we would need a motion and a second and a vote. So hearing none, I guess we would want to table this. Would that be the correct?
That's your pleasure.
So again, I'll put it out to the board, which
So-
direction you want to go.
As a point of order, tabling would require us to take it off of the table. If we take no action, then, I mean, if we take no action at this time, then it could come up under the normal course of business during the next time. If we vote to table, it would show up and we would have to take it off the table
Well,
and then act on it. It's a formality, but
yeah, I mean, in some situation where we have had to table something, it's tabled to the next meeting automatically, so it goes on the agenda as old business. So it's not in the sense of, you actually have to have a motion to bring it off the table. We would actually automatically put it on the next agenda.
Would that just be inclusive in the motion? The table and
If you want to make it that clear, that is certainly
put
fine.
it up, any?
The question then becomes is how notifications are interpreted. So we have had precedents in the past with tabling that the legal notice and first-class letters would still be required for the next go-round.
So they'd have to do that again. And
Yes, that's the way, that's been our policy. Whether it's technically required is a question for the attorney. Unfortunately, he's not here.
waiting to hear from the board what their pleasure might be, in which direction they would like to go.
I mean, there's a few other items on the agenda, but those are really, there's nothing really that to be addressed under the next item, so that would only give us another 3 minutes.
Thinking that petitioner may show up.
Sorry.
Always theoretically possible.
well, based upon what was said here, I would guess I would motion to table the action till the next meeting. I think that's about all, right? Motion to table and consider it as old business. at the-
When is the next meeting? Do we have a date?
And require the petitioner to meet the statutory notification requirements for that.
Well, in this case, it's the Plan Commission's rule on the notifications.
For the next meeting.
Yeah, as opposed to statutory requirements. It's the Plan Commission's rule. What was the date?
October 15th.
October 15th.
October 15th?
Did he make a motion?
Yes, I made a motion.
I'll
Yes.
second that motion.
And we'll do a roll call.
Roger Brock,
Yes.
Dean Button,
Yes.
Ann Herbert,
Yes.
William Hutton,
Yes.
Pete Torres,
Yes.
Juan Moreno,
Yes.
Sharon Zany,
Yes.
Thomas White,
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, correspondence.
No correspondence.
No correspondence. Do we have any commissioners' comments? Hearing none, move on to staff comments.
So yes, we will have a Plan Commission meeting on October 15th. That's all I have.
And as of this date, would that be the only item on the agenda, or do we have?
There may be something else coming up that I just got today. And
Oh, okay.
depending upon if they can get their stuff together. I'm not 100% sure whether they're on October or not.
Okay. And public comment, but seeing no public, I don't believe there will be any public comment. And the next item would be a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.